Hi, my name is Zetta Elliott, and I am the author of Dragons in a Bag and The Dragon Thief. And I'm here to share with you my love of fantasy fiction and mythical creatures and magic. So, probably the question that I get asked most often is, what inspired you to write Dragons in a Bag? And I sort of love answering this question because the truth is, I have awesome friends. And one particular friend named Marie sent me 4 baby dragons. Now, they are made of plastic. And I wanted to carry those dragons with me, but they're tiny and I didn't know how to carry them without losing them. And then I saw this mint tin in my bag. And to be honest, I didn't like the mints all that much. So I just opened the mint tin and I dumped out the mints and I put my 4 tiny dragons in the mint tin and I carry it in my bag to this day. And then I just thought that would make a really good story. But instead of it being an author who's walking around Brooklyn with dragons in her bag, it should be a witch. You know, I think the best stories always start with a question. And my favorite question is, what if? What if there were 3 baby dragons sent from Madagascar in a shoebox and they had to be delivered to the realm of magic by a witch who was about to retire, but she needs help. She needs an apprentice. Who would want to help a cranky old witch deliver 3 dragons to the realm of magic? And that's when Jax came to mind. I would say that the characters in Dragons in a Bag, like the characters in all of my books, have a little bit of me in them. Each one of them has a little bit of me. I was very close to my grandparents, but Ma is nothing like my grandmothers. I can't say that at all. My grandmothers were very warm and friendly and kind. So I think Jax's desire to have the guidance of an older person, especially since he's lost his father, I think I definitely relate to that. I think when it comes to writing fantasy fiction, there are certain conventions that we see over and over and over again. And, conventions set up expectations in readers, not only child readers, but also adult readers. And my goal as a Black feminist writer is certainly to upset those conventions. So for a very long time, I was sending out fantasy stories, time travel stories, ghost stories, stories with a phoenix and a unicorn. And editors, would just say, oh, you write beautifully, but there's no market for this. So they didn't necessarily have a problem with the story itself, but they felt like no one would want to read it. Nobody would want to buy a book like that. I've worked with kids for 30 years. Almost all of those kids have been in big cities, and I know they're desperate for stories where they get to be the hero and they get to have the magical adventure and they get to find the dragon's egg. The advice I would give to anyone who's interested in writing fantasy fiction is probably not to start with world building. I think have a sense of your setting. That's important. I think if you decide, I want my book to be set in my neighborhood, in my city, in a place that I know best, that's cool. But if you wanted it to be set on Mars, or if you wanted it to be set in an underground world, wherever you decide, that's actually not what's going to keep readers interested in your book. I find that world building is almost secondary to relationships. And so for me, the most important thing is to hear the voice of my character clearly. And once I have a sense of who my character is, their limitations as well as their strengths, then I have to pair them with someone. And usually if they have a limitation, then you need to give them someone who has a complementary strength, so that then you create a sort of dependence. They need each other, and then you can give them their mission, their quest, and then you can build the world around that relationship, that dependence, that drama. So now you know a little bit more about me and why I wrote these wonderful magical stories. I'm so glad that you're reading Dragons in a Bag. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you will try writing your own magical stories too. Everyone has a story to tell.